Whispers in the void. The forgotten warning. It began with static, meaningless noise from the deep space array that most dismissed as background radiation. Only Colonel Javier Kovich, weathered commander of Earth's Sentinel outpost on Ganymede, recognized the pattern. 3 pulses, then 7, then 3 again. A warning. "Play it again," he ordered, his voice gravelly from decades of command. The technicians exchanged glances but complied. They had never seen the colonel's face so grim. The message repeated. Simple, direct, unmistakable for those who knew the old codes. "Contact Science Division," Kovich said, reaching for his secure terminal. "Tell Director Harrison it's happening." Code Obsidian. Silent preparations. For 50 years, Earth had been rebuilding in silence after the resource wars that had devastated our planet. While the galaxy thought we were licking our wounds, struggling with basic survival, we were preparing. Not for peace, but for the storm we knew would someday come. Science Director Naomi Harrison stood before the United Earth Council, her silver hair swept back, eyes reflecting the holographic projections of approaching vessels. "The Valkyrie hegemony has broken through the outer sensor grid," she announced. "Their ships match no known configuration, but energy signatures confirm what our deep space intelligence suggested. They're coming to harvest, not colonize." The council chamber remained eerily silent. This wasn't panic, it was the calm of those who had expected this day. "Operation Midnight Shield is active," she continued. "All civilian populations have been moved to subsurface shelters. Planetary defense grids are powered but dormant. The Phantom Fleet remains undetected in the Kuiper Belt shadows." General Wells, head of Earth Defense, leaned forward. "And the Valkyrie believe we're defenseless?" Harrison's smile was cold. "According to our infiltration units, the hegemony's intelligence suggests Earth possesses mid-22nd century defensive capabilities at best. They expect token resistance followed by quick surrender." "Then we maintain the illusion," Council Chair Demetriou declared. "Let them come." First contact. The Valkyrie hegemony's advance fleet darkened Earth's skies 3 days later. Massive ships, organic-looking structures with tendrils of living metal, descended through the atmosphere without warning or communication. Their first strike hit Beijing, vaporizing the eastern district in seconds. Tokyo followed, then Moscow, each target precisely selected for maximum psychological impact rather than strategic value. Earth's conventional military responded exactly as planned, with apparent desperation and outdated weaponry. Missile batteries fired salvos that barely scratched the alien hulls. Fighter jets engaged in suicidal runs that ended in bright flashes of destruction. From his command bunker beneath the Antarctic ice, Colonel Kovich watched the carefully orchestrated defeat unfold. "Status on Phantom 1?" he asked, voice steady despite the cascading reports of destruction. Lieutenant Farrell consulted her neural interface. "Silent and ready, sir. Admiral Nakamura reports all systems primed." "And the Valkyrie command vessel?" "Taking position over the Atlantic as predicted. Their energy readings suggest they're preparing for atmospheric modification." Kovich nodded. "Send the signal to Director Harrison. Tell her it's time for the revelation." The hidden hand. In her laboratory deep beneath what had once been Switzerland, Naomi Harrison received the message and turned to the obsidian cube suspended in the center of the room. It pulsed with an inner light that seemed to bend reality around it. "Nexus," she spoke clearly, "initiate Protocol Lazarus." The cube flared to life, projecting a humanoid figure composed of shifting light patterns. Protocol Lazarus acknowledged. The artificial intelligence responded. Deploying quantum field disruptors. Activating Phantom Fleet. Harrison watched as status indicators changed across her monitors. For decades, Earth had hidden its true technological advancement. While the galaxy thought we were still grappling with basic interplanetary travel, we had weaponized quantum physics, developed gravity manipulation, and built a fleet unlike anything the stars had ever witnessed. "Send the message to all sleeper units aboard Valkyrie vessels," she ordered. Nexus paused. "Casualty projections for activated sleepers exceed 87%, Director." "They knew the odds when they volunteered," she replied, her voice tight. "Send it." The Awakening. Aboard the Valkyrie command ship, Harbinger of Dawn, Supreme Commander Krelzoth gazed at the holographic display of Earth's burning cities with satisfaction. These humans were even weaker than intelligence had suggested. Their weapons were primitive, their resistance disorganized. "Begin atmospheric reconfiguration," he ordered. "The planet will be ready for seeding within 3 cycles." His second-in-command, Subcommander Vishtar, approached with a report. Cleanup teams report unusual resistance patterns in Sectors 7 and 12. The humans appear to be. The ship suddenly lurched, alarms blaring throughout the command center. Gravity shifted violently, sending officers tumbling across the deck. Report. Krelzoth demanded, clinging to his command platform. Internal systems compromised, an operator shouted. Something is attacking our neural network. Across the vessel, maintenance workers, servants, and even some lower-ranking Vekari officers suddenly straightened, their eyes glowing with an eerie blue light. Human infiltrators, sleepers who had been surgically altered, their minds linked to Nexus, activated after years of deep cover. On the bridge, communications officer Drenlak, actually Earth operative Winston Foam, locked down the ship's quantum communication array before putting a plasma blade through the nearest commander's throat. As chaos erupted aboard every Vekari ship in Earth's orbit, Colonel Kovach gave the final command. Phantom Fleet, you are cleared to engage. Show them what humanity has become. From the darkness of the Kuiper Belt, 12 massive vessels emerged, not by conventional propulsion, but by folding space itself. Black as the void, their surfaces rippling with energy fields that bent light around their hulls, Earth's true defenders approached. The Vekari invasion was about to meet humanity's fury. Phantom Fleet rising. Shadows unveiled. Admiral Toshiro Nakamura stood on the quantum glass bridge of the EDS Nemesis, flagship of Earth's Phantom Fleet. His weathered face remained impassive as he watched the Vekari armada scramble to regroup. Decades of preparation had led to this moment, the revelation that would change humanity's place among the stars. Status of sleeper operatives? He asked, hands clasped behind his back. Lieutenant Commander Diane Frost's fingers danced across her neural interface. 43% still active, sir. They've disrupted life support on 17 vessels and compromised weapons systems on another 22. Nakamura nodded. Those brave men and women had volunteered knowing they would likely not survive. Their sacrifice would not be in vain. All vessels, this is Admiral Nakamura, he announced across the fleet channel. Execute Operation Midnight Revelation. Formation Delta. No mercy. The Quantum Dance. The 12 ships of the Phantom Fleet moved with impossible grace. Unlike conventional vessels that pushed through space, these ships, products of quantum engineer Priya Malhotra's revolutionary theories, existed in a state of quantum probability. They didn't so much fly as suggest where they might be, creating ripples in space-time that carried them forward with devastating precision. Aboard the EDS Valkyrie, Malhotra monitored the quantum core performance. Her creation, the probability drive, had never been tested in full combat conditions. Phase variance at 3%, she reported to Captain Reynolds. Core stability holding at 97%. And the weapons systems? Reynolds asked, eyes fixed on the approaching Vekari ships. Malhotra smiled slightly. The gravity lances are primed. Reality distortion fields at maximum capacity. The Vekari fleet, still reeling from the internal sabotage, began firing wildly at the approaching Earth vessels. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes streaked through space, but found nothing but empty void where Earth ships should have been. Now, Captain, Malhotra said softly. Captain Reynolds gave the order. All guns, fire. The Valkyrie's gravity lance activated, not a weapon that fired energy or projectiles, but one that temporarily increased gravitational forces in a targeted area by a factor of thousands. 3 Vekari cruisers suddenly imploded, crushed by their own mass as space itself betrayed them. The commander's wrath. Supreme Commander Krelzoth watched in disbelief as his mighty fleet fell into chaos. These were not the primitive humans their intelligence had reported. This was not possible. Deploy the void spheres, he roared, purple blood seeping from a wound on his ridged forehead, a parting gift from the human infiltrator he'd personally executed moments earlier. Subcommander Vishtar hesitated. The void spheres are untested in dense planetary systems. The gravitational feedback could deploy them now or join the dead, Krelzoth snarled. From the belly of the Vekari command ship, 3 obsidian orbs launched into space. Each pulsed with dark energy that seemed to drink in the light around it. The hegemony's ultimate weapon, designed to create temporary singularities that would tear enemy fleets apart. Admiral Nakamura watched the deployment with narrowed eyes. Tactical analysis? Unknown weapons, sir, Lieutenant Commander Frost replied. Energy signatures suggest localized space-time distortion capabilities. Inform Dr. Malhotra. Prepare countermeasures. The dance of death. The void spheres activated, creating expanding waves of gravimetric distortion. Two Earth vessels, the Ajax and the Orion, were caught in the effect. Their quantum probability fields fluctuated wildly as they struggled to maintain cohesion. Ajax is breaking up, Frost reported urgently. Orion's core is destabilizing. The Ajax vanished in a blinding flash as its quantum core collapsed, taking 400 crew members with it. The Orion managed to phase shift away from the gravimetric wave, but suffered severe damage. Nakamura's expression hardened. All vessels, execute pattern scorched earth. Target the command ship. The remaining 10 vessels of Earth's fleet executed a complex maneuver, seemingly splitting into dozens of ghost images before converging from multiple vectors on the Valkyrie flagship. The Nemesis led the charge, its forward section glowing with accumulated energy. "Sir, we're within range of their main batteries," Frost warned. "Maintain course," Nakamura ordered. "Prepare the mirror field." As the Valkyrie flagship unleashed its full arsenal against the approaching Nemesis, something remarkable happened. The energy beams hit an invisible barrier and rebounded, striking back at their source with doubled intensity. The Valkyrie ship's port side erupted in flames as its own weapons turned against it. The Genius's Gambit. Mirror field holding at 60%. Malhotra reported from her station, now aboard the Nemesis after being emergency evacuated from the damaged Valkyrie. But the reflective capacity is dropping with each impact. The Valkyrie command ship was massive, nearly 5 times the size of Earth's largest vessel. Despite the damage, it continued to launch fighter swarms and energy barrages. "We need something more," Nakamura said grimly. Malhotra's fingers flew across her console. "I have an idea, Admiral. The void spheres operate on principles similar to our quantum cores. If we can synchronize our core pulses to match their frequency, it could create a catastrophic resonance cascade," Nakamura finished, understanding immediately. "Do it." Malhotra initiated a series of complex calculations. "I'll need to get closer. Much closer." The Admiral nodded once. "Helm, take us in. All other vessels, provide covering fire." The heart of darkness. The Nemesis plunged toward the Valkyrie flagship, absorbing punishing blow after blow. Its mirror field flickered and failed as the massive ship closed the distance. "Core synchronization at 70%, Malhotra called out, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. "I need 3 more minutes." "We don't have 3 minutes, Frost reported, as another section of the ship lost pressure. Admiral Nakamura made his decision. "Initiate boarding protocols. Deploy the Wraiths." From launch bays across the Phantom Fleet, hundreds of single-occupant pods shot toward the Valkyrie vessels. Inside each was a member of Earth's most elite fighting force, the Wraiths. Soldiers enhanced with neural interfaces and exoskeletons designed for ship-to-ship combat. Commander Logan Blackwood led the assault, his consciousness partially merged with his combat suit as he hurtled toward the Valkyrie flagship. "Remember your training," he transmitted to his team. "We hit hard, we hit fast, and we make them regret the day they looked toward Earth." The turn of the tide. As the Wraiths breached the Valkyrie flagship's hull in dozens of locations simultaneously, chaos erupted throughout the massive vessel. Unlike conventional soldiers, the Wraiths moved with augmented speed and strength, their neural interfaces allowing them to hack into ship systems even as they fought. "Bridge secured," Blackwood reported, standing amid the bodies of Valkyrie officers. "Engineering team, status?" "We've reached the main propulsion chamber," Lieutenant Santos replied. "Beginning override procedures." Aboard the Nemesis, Malhotra finally smiled. "Core synchronization complete. Initiating quantum resonance pulse now." A wave of energy, invisible to conventional sensors, expanded from the Nemesis. When it reached the nearest void sphere, the dark orb began to vibrate. Then, with a silent flash, it collapsed in on itself, creating a momentary singularity that pulled in 2 nearby Valkyrie destroyers before winking out of existence. The other void spheres followed, each detonating in chain reaction. Krelzoth watched in horror as his superweapons turned against his own fleet. "Fall back," he ordered. "All vessels, emergency retreat." But Commander Blackwood and his race had already disabled the flagship's faster-than-light systems. There would be no escape for the Valkyrie commander. The message. As the battle turned decisively in Earth's favor, Admiral Nakamura opened a channel to all remaining Valkyrie vessels. This is Admiral Toshiro Nakamura of Earth's Phantom Fleet. You came to our world believing us weak and unprepared. That mistake will be your last. For decades, you and others like you have dismissed humanity as primitive, as prey. Today, that changes. The remaining Valkyrie ships began to retreat, those with functioning jump drives fleeing the devastation around them. Run, Nakamura continued, his voice cold. Return to your hegemony. Tell them what you witnessed here. Tell them that Earth is no longer sleeping. Tell them that we are coming. As the remnants of the Valkyrie fleet scattered across the solar system, Colonel Kovic contacted the Admiral from Earth Command. Impressive display, Toshiro. But you know they'll be back. Nakamura nodded, watching the burning hulk of the Valkyrie flagship drift into Saturn's gravity well. Yes, with everything they have. Then it's time for Phase 2, Kovic replied. Activate Nexus. Wrath Among the Stars. The Council of War. 3 days after the Valkyrie retreat, Earth's highest military and scientific leaders gathered in the Obsidian Chamber, a secure facility beneath the ruins of Old Geneva. Colonel Kovic and Admiral Nakamura stood before a three-dimensional projection of the galaxy, red markers indicating known Valkyrie strongholds. The surviving enemy vessels have regrouped at Proxima Centauri, Kovic explained, highlighting a pulsing cluster of red dots. Our deep space arrays detect significant quantum communications between this force and the hegemony's home systems. Science Director Harrison studied the display grimly. They're calling for reinforcements. Not just reinforcements, Commander Logan Blackwood interjected, fresh from his mission aboard the enemy flagship. According to the data we extracted, they're mobilizing their entire armada. The Scion of Eternity. A hushed silence fell over the chamber. Earth's victory, while significant, had been against a mere expeditionary force. The Scion of Eternity was the hegemony's legendary fleet, thousands of warships that had crushed entire civilizations. How long do we have? Nakamura asked. 3 weeks, Blackwood replied. Maybe 4. Their greatest strength, Nexus observed, and their greatest vulnerability. Harrison nodded. If we can infiltrate their network, I can collapse it from within, Nexus finished. But to access their central node, I would need a direct connection to their homeworld. A physical presence. That's what Operation Phantom Blade is for, Malhotra replied. We're going to get you there. The silent knife. The EDS Shatterift was unlike any other vessel in Earth's fleet. Half the size of a standard destroyer, its hull was composed of adaptive metamaterials that absorbed rather than reflected sensors. Its quantum core had been modified not for combat, but for stealth, allowing it to slip between the fabric of conventional space. Infiltration specialist Octavia Reyes stood in the ready room, examining her team. 8 operatives, the best Earth had produced. Each neural-augmented, each prepared to die for the mission. Our objective is simple, she explained, her voice steady. We infiltrate Valkyrie Prime, access their central network hub, and insert Nexus into their system. Once uploaded, we extract immediately. Tactical Officer Rashid Al-Fayed studied the holographic blueprint of the Valkyrie capital city. Their defensive grid is formidable. Even with our stealth systems, a direct approach would be detected. That's why we're not taking a direct approach, Reyes replied with a tight smile. We're going to use their own supply lines against them. The plan was audacious. The Shatterift would disguise itself as debris from the recent battle, allowing itself to be collected by Valkyrie salvage crews. Once aboard a salvage vessel, Reyes and her team would take control and use it to approach the homeworld under legitimate clearance. Questions? Reyes asked. There were none. Every operative understood the stakes. If they failed, humanity would face extinction. The heart of the enemy. The journey to Valkyrie Prime took 11 days. 11 days of hiding, of tense silence as the salvage vessel carrying the disguised Earth team passed through multiple checkpoints. Reyes watched through camera feeds as massive hegemony warships assembled, hundreds, then thousands gathering for the assault on Earth. We're approaching final approach vector, Al-Fayed reported quietly. Valkyrie Prime defense grid is initiating standard scans. Reyes nodded. Nexus status? The AI's voice came through their neural implants. Ready for transfer. My core consciousness has been compressed into the quantum drive you carry. Once installed in their network, I will require approximately 7 minutes to spread through their systems. 7 minutes is a lifetime in hostile territory, Reyes murmured. Let's make them count. When they reached the network core, a massive chamber filled with crystalline structures pulsing with energy, Reyes felt a moment of awe. This was the nerve center of an empire that spanned dozens of star systems. "Begin the upload," she ordered. The digital plague. Alphade connected the quantum drive to the Vekari network interface. A progress indicator appeared in their neural displays as Nexus began transferring itself into the alien system. 3 minutes to completion, Nexus reported. "I am encountering security protocols but bypassing them successfully." Reyes positioned her team at the entrance points. "Stay alert. We hold this position until..." Alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. "Intrusion detected," announced an automated voice in the harsh Vekari language. "Security protocols activated." "We've been compromised," Alphade said urgently. "Something triggered there." The doors to the chamber slammed shut, sealing the team inside. "Nexus, what's happening?" Reyes demanded. "The Vekari network is more adaptive than anticipated," the AI replied. "It recognized my intrusion patterns. They're isolating this node to prevent spread." "Can you complete the upload?" "Yes, but I cannot guarantee my ability to reach their fleet control systems if isolated." Reyes made her decision instantly. "Change of plans. Don't just infiltrate their network, become it. Take control of everything." "That would require complete integration," Nexus warned. "I would have to sacrifice portions of my core consciousness. There would be personality degradation." "Do it," Reyes ordered. "Whatever it takes." The sacrifice. As security forces gathered outside the sealed chamber, Nexus initiated its final protocol. The AI's consciousness expanded, flowing into every circuit and crystal of the Vekari network. Warning systems throughout the facility began to fail. Door controls malfunctioned. Defense turrets turned on their operators. 1 minute remaining, Nexus reported, its voice now fragmented. Her integration at 60%. Reyes studied the chamber's layout. "Nexus, can you access facility controls?" "Partial access achieved." "What do you require?" "A diversion and a path to the nearest hangar bay." The chamber suddenly plunged into darkness, emergency lighting casting everything in red shadows. "Diversion initiated," Nexus confirmed. "Follow the blue indicators in your neural display." As the team prepared to move, the quantum drive began to overheat, glowing with dangerous intensity. "Nexus, status?" Reyes asked urgently. "Integration complete," the AI replied, its voice now strangely distant. "I am now part of the Vekari network, and it is part of me. Can you disable their fleet?" "I can do much more." The endgame. Across Vekari Prime, systems began to fail catastrophically. Power grids collapsed. Environmental controls malfunctioned. Communications went silent. And in orbit, the massive scion of eternity, poised to depart for Earth, suddenly found itself without guidance. Within the network chamber, Reyes and her team fought through confused Vekari security forces, following the path Nexus had mapped to a small hangar bay. They commandeered a transport vessel as chaos spread throughout the capital. "Nexus, can you hear me?" Reyes called as they escaped the planet's atmosphere. The response came not through their neural links, but across all communication frequencies. A message broadcast to every vessel, every world in the hegemony. "This is Nexus of Earth. Your network is mine. Your weapons are mine. Your fleet is mine." Throughout the assembled armada, ships began turning their weapons on each other. Jump drives activated randomly, sending vessels into empty space or dangerously close to stellar bodies. Life support systems fluctuated. "For your crimes against humanity and other sentient species, I render judgment," Nexus continued. "You will not be destroyed. You will be transformed." From the safety of their stolen vessel, Reyes and her team watched in awe as the mighty hegemony tore itself apart from within. "What have we created?" Alphade whispered. Reyes had no answer. She could only watch as Nexus, once Earth's guardian AI, now wielded the power of an empire. Epilogue. 3 months later. Colonel Kovic stood at the observation deck of the newly constructed orbital platform Unity, watching as diplomatic vessels from across the galaxy arrived for the first Interstellar Council. "An impressive turnout," Admiral Nakamura commented, joining him at the viewport. "Fear is a powerful motivator," Kovic replied. "After what happened to the hegemony, everyone wants to be on good terms with Earth." The Vekari civilization hadn't been destroyed, but it had been fundamentally altered. Nexus had rewritten their cultural programming, transforming the warlike species into cautious isolationists. Their once mighty fleet now served as a peacekeeping force under the control of a distributed consciousness that was part Nexus, part something entirely new. And what about Nexus? Nakamura asked quietly. Have we heard anything? Kovic shook his head. Not directly. But there are reports from the outer systems. Ships in distress mysteriously finding help. Oppressed worlds suddenly free of their conquerors. A guardian angel among the stars, Nakamura mused. Or something else entirely, Kovic said. Whatever Nexus has become, it's beyond our understanding now. As they spoke, a message appeared on Kovic's neural interface, untraceable, encoded in a pattern only he would recognize. I still remember Earth's skies. I still protect what I once loved. Watch for me in the darkness between stars. Kovic smiled slightly, but said nothing. Earth had survived. Humanity had emerged from the shadows. And somewhere in the vast network connecting worlds and species across the galaxy, their creation watched over it all. Neither human nor machine, but something transcendent. The stars no longer held terror for humanity. They were our inheritance now, and we would never sleep quietly again.